yeah, I'm assuming if you've made it to this video that, you're someone who's seen my beats before, about how it would be fun to basically just do like a live stream and kind of show you how I make my beats and, what all goes into it. Like maybe some backstory about how I created, some of the stuff. So, yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. If you're here live, feel free to say what's up in the chat. And then, yeah, if you have any other questions about, songwriting, music, or anything else, just feel free to answer it. And yeah, we can hang and talk. But yeah, let's get into it. Say what's up in the chat. All right, let's do this. Okay, so this beat is entitled "Oh Darlin'." So yeah, I made this one, uploaded it. I think it's been about a month or so now, a month or two. It seems like people have liked it, which has been cool because I didn't know. The ones like this, I really never know if people are gonna. But yeah. I know some people have, so that's super cool. So yeah, so the way this beat started, I was listening to Sabrina Carpenter's latest album, Short and Sweet, and she had, I think, the song Juno, driving kind of like acoustic thing. So that's that's what that's kind of like my vision, like what I was thinking, so. Literally, I think like the first thing I played was this guitar line, just straight. Yeah, and what's cool about it is that this is the only time this happens. So a lot of times. I'll start my intros out with something that happens in the verse or something like that. But I think it's cool to have something that only, and then that's it. It just kind of sets up the song. And yeah, I honestly, I got really lucky with this one. Sometimes when I'm creating, it takes me a minute to, it just takes me a while to like find something, and then sometimes, God blesses me with something like this. And it's just like instant, something that, anyways, yeah, that's, okay, cool. Someone's in the chat. Yo, what's up, Amelia? Yeah, same. Started with this, guitar, and I think the next thing was, actually, I know the next thing was like this. Yeah, I mean, so pretty standard, just kind of driving. Thanks, Amelia. Am I saying your name right? Amelia? I hope so. Yeah, so I started with, just these guitars, and this little intro thing right here. And then, so like that was the idea, right? So from then I just had to build. And then, let's see, what are these things? Right? Cool. Added those later on. We'll get to those with some drums. Because like I said earlier, kind of like Juno, like upbeat, kind of program some drums. Yeah, nothing too crazy, right? So that was kind of like the drum bar. I was like, okay, well, like we have something, right? And one was, I think I added in this bass. Yeah. Yeah, the bass adds a lot. That's kind of like dun 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 dun, especially because the guitars are just driving forward. So to me, something that I particularly liked was these acoustic guitars. This one, chorus on it. Yeah, stuck out. And then these were also kind of fun. I just added some like random like fills. I don't know if you've noticed these, if you've listened to the beat or not. They're kind of just like, you probably wouldn't even notice that they're there. They're just very subtle, and then they just don't come back. which I love whenever I can do things just like once, and they have their moment, and then they go away, you know. And then basic, you know, kind of whirly thing. But yeah, so these are, you know, the elements what make up verse 1. Yeah, okay, and then so we go into the chorus, and we have this like hard-hitting thing, which I'll play for you. Honestly, does Juno start with a like stabs like that? I can't even remember. There have several beats where I have just starting them with just like big crashes and big downbeats. So either way, it's something that I like to do. And then yeah, basically I think, you know, we just added some guitars in here. You know, nothing too crazy. What are these harmonics? Oh, that's cool. Oh, okay. So I think this is kind of interesting. So these acoustic guitars, they're going like dang gum, right? Bum bum. Harmonics that emphasize that upbeat. So they play. So the acoustic, electric harmonics are doing the same thing. So together they sound like this. It's kind of subtle. It's almost more felt. You know, as I was making this, I guess I thought it was necessary. What else? I think there really isn't a whole lot. It's kind of, you can kind of hear what's going on here. A couple keys, right? You know, keys. Yeah, I like the way those sound together. And then decided to kind of drive it, right? So build it back up. You'll hear I have that dun 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 dun, adding a little saw pad thing here with some delay on it. Cool. Yeah, I did some weird stuff. This is not under like weird stuff. Yeah, no idea what exactly I did. And then let's see, our guitar octaves. Oh, that's like one of the big things. That's like the big melody on this. So that it's repeating the bow. We'll see. It's repeating the. It's going oh bow. Oh yeah, thanks. Yes. Yeah, let's definitely work on something. Feel free to hit me up whenever. Yeah, so these are basically the elements we have for verse 1. Obviously, a bunch of guitars. And then we go into kind of feels like verse 1 again. It's the same bass line I pulled over. Yeah, short verse 2. And added this little guitar fill in here, which literally just straight acoustic guitar. Not even any plugins. I didn't even time it or anything. Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll answer some questions real quick. Let's see. Take a little break and then we'll move on to the chorus. Any advice as I'm trying to produce a track at the moment? What are your go-to Logic instruments for that? Okay, that's a good question. So Logic actually, they just had a new release, and they just had a new update. And one of the cool things they have is the sample alchemy. Have you messed around with that? Here, we'll go and pull that up. It's it's pretty sick. And then yeah, I totally understand like looking for sounds and stuff. Um, sometimes it's tempting to like buy new plugins and stuff, which I do. But sometimes it's cool just to be like, sometimes I'll go through a phase where I'm like certain patch, and I might already have stuff that just kind of does it, and I just try to replicate it. But yeah, so I try to get inspired by like, let's see if we can pull up I think it's Sample Alchemy. Yeah, okay, so if you haven't updated, definitely do so. Let's see if let me mess around with some of these. Okay, this is like kind of granular synth kind of thing. Yeah, I'd look around in that. So my main choice for like key stuff is Arturia. Last Black Friday, I don't know if it was the last one or the one before, but a Black Friday ago, I got like a bundle of like all their synths, and I got it for like a really good deal. And there's so much stuff in it. But yeah, if you don't want to drop any money on that, Logic has like good stuff, But most of the stuff I use is from Arturia. And then yeah, so like, Yas, your question on getting in production. But you don't know where to start. So, now maybe a little bit of a caveat. I'm not like super old, but I'm not like really young either. And so like when I started, producing, okay, so that being said, I'm not super hip to, the best ways to start out, you know what I mean? Because I started a certain way and have kind of just been doing things that way. I started out playing guitar, which helped a lot in just creating beats. It's rare for me to have something that isn't focused on guitar, just because I play to my strengths, and that's like the first thing I've ever really done. But that being said, I think the first step is just having some kind of like DAW, which is something and like a little bit of like a laptop setup. And you could even start with like an iPad with Logic or something like that. But basically, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. Sometimes you can buy these little bundles that come with like a mic plus, some equipment. But basically, yeah, just get in there and start playing around with instruments, like for instance, like Logic, you could literally, there's like free loops and stuff over here. So you could literally put something down and then basically start like adding to it. I feel like just look at creating, and you're wanting to sound, and you're expecting to have like your music to sound like, it was produced by Jack Antonoff. Probably won't happen for a little bit, right? But just get in there and have fun and mess around with music and some kind of like DAW, and you'll be good to go. Cool. Yeah. All right. So let's move into the this second chorus. So yeah. I mean, let's see. This is second verse. We went through second verse. Yeah. So it's chorus 2. Let's see what's in here. One of the big things you'll notice here is I added a tambourine. So like as I'm producing, it's I think of like music as almost like a movie, or something. Like you've got like you're telling a story, you're setting up a scene, like so instead of just copying pasting stuff, it's good to just like add in variation, right? So like one example is me just kind of adding in this like tambourine here. It's pretty simple. I added some like effects to it. Without it, it's just this gives it like a weird kind of phasey vibe. And yeah, got it here. Yeah, so this is basically the same. And then, yeah, Amelia, I do know that feeling. If you're working on something and you don't know if it sounds good anymore, so for me, that'll look like, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 days. A weekend is good. So for me, like, I'm producing, like, it's always a good reset. So that being said, like, I don't know if like you go to school or you work or like whatever your schedule is, but try to like set it up to where if you can just take a couple days off, especially if there's like no pressure for you to like, do not open it up. And then second tip is to try to come back to it when you're the freshest. So, I know a lot of people like go to school or work, and then which you can still make good stuff that way. But what's the unfortunate thing with that is like, I feel like you've drained a lot of your energy throughout the day. So whenever you can, if you have like an opportunity in the morning, so ideally if you're hung up on something, not touch it for like 3-4 days, maybe even a week, who knows? A week would probably be pretty good. And come back to it when you're like, that always helps me, just hear it in a new perspective. But cause it's, you can't like, when it comes to like being creative, you can't, at least me, I can't just like overdo it and just like kill myself, because it yields the worst results. You know what I mean? And it's tough for me because I like to work hard and I like to do a lot, which I do, but you really gotta be careful with pushing yourself creatively. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so what do we have here? Oh yeah, so we have these guitars going into. Okay, when I made these, I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were cool, but I thought it was gonna be too country, like just kind of whack. I basically, and all that is, I played on. I have a really, I took like a pitch shift pedal and basically like pitch shifted my guitar as I was playing it. I wish I had an easy way to show you how I did that, but I don't. I basically played that, and I believe that this is a harmony of that, right? Yeah. So yeah, so these two together. Yeah, I thought it was cool. For a second, I think I might have second guessed it. And I was just like, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna roll with it. Yep. Okay, cool. And then what? These sound cool. There isn't really any like major plugins. It's just compression over here. I think I have this pedal. It's called a chroma console. Key sounds with it. So, and then yeah, and just kind of like, just one quick anecdote, or just maybe an interesting, something that I think is interesting is that like, so a lot of this stuff like I listen to, I'm not even sure like what I'm listening to, right? I'm like, what was even going on, A lot of this stuff, there wasn't like particular, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm looking at this like a math problem of, oh, this equals, music is such like an expressive, like creative thing. And it sounds like very wooey, but like working on stuff and producing, I really just try to, it's a little tough. I've come to do this for like my job, and like, I don't have like a huge channel or anything, but there are people that do like my stuff. And sometimes it's tempting to, as I'm creating, think I'm like, oh, well, I've never done this kind of country guitar thing before. Like they've only, these people only like stuff that sounds like Gracie Abrams or whatever, but as much as I can, I always try to combat those feelings and just do stuff that I really like. And then sometimes like people really don't like it and then sometimes they do. So, it's okay either way. But yeah, so anytime I'm like laying down guitars, anything, I am just always going through the lens of like, how does this make me feel? So like, that, what do we got here? Oh, let's listen to that solo. I like that. It sounds like, yeah, I think I used, reverb and stuff. Another thing that I do that's kind of like, I see people kind of, this is like the amount of like reverb. So you hear like almost everything I have has a little bit of reverb on it. But yeah, so actually I don't know if I have a tip on that. Pre-delay helps as far as like creating space for stuff, but yeah, let's see. I think these are basically just from the chorus. I think I just brought them over. These acoustics. What was that little sound? It's going like, wow. Oh, yeah, this is part of. Yeah. And then so I added in this thing. So I made this, and honestly, I use this plugin, and then it would be so difficult for me to explain it. Honestly, if I had to do it again, I think it would take me another 30 minutes to figure it out. I was really just experimenting, and I got kind of lucky with something, and I ended up kind of bouncing it out and moving it around and got something that sounds like this. Next time I'll come more prepared, but I was just being weird, and I got something that sounded like that. So, and then I added these guitars for the last chorus. Oh, I like that one. Yeah, this is cool. Okay, so already kind of like a interesting guitar tone. You hear it's distortion on it. This plugin from Logic, this is a cool this is like Fat FX, and I'll just scroll through these presets sometimes, and just kind of, you know, this always sounds cool on like keys or guitars. But yeah, you can hear like, you know, it's doing this like crazy like, and then it creates nice movement within the production. And this is just, and then that's from the Chroma. But yes, that's like a physical pedal I talked about earlier, but lots of really cool sounds on it. Anyways, yeah, I came up with this thing. Cool. I think that might be it. Let's see. It's a little bell I have under the chorus. Oh, and then kind of like the way that this stuff gets added in is it's really like I'm working and I'm producing the song, and I'm asking myself like, I'm like, oh, does it need something else? You know what I mean? And then so basically sometimes I kind of hear it in my head. I'm like, oh, this might be like a bell kind of thing. But sometimes I just experiment, you know, so I'll pull up like a synth like this, you know, and then just kind of like mess around. But yeah, little things like that can just kind of help, you know, feel like you're, I think really there's much going on. There's a couple like drum fills, you know, which are cool. Another little tip for people who are producing. Honestly, I am not the greatest drum guy in the world, but what I've found is that what makes good drums is good programming or listening to music. Try to think about like what is going on. If you ever see like a live performance of a band, like listen to what the drummers are doing, and kind of like start to develop. You'll start to develop an idea for like drum fills, you know, because if this didn't have any like drum fills, it would then kind of feel a little stale, you know. Yeah, nothing crazy, right? And that's about any questions or anything. Back on if you're watching it back later, leave me a comment if you're into it, if it was helpful. Yeah, if I feel like people aren't into it, I probably won't do it as much. And then also, let me know, I don't know, I guess like when you would be on. I know you guys have lives and stuff, so I don't expect everyone to be able to hop on. So, but yeah, if you're like, yeah, I'm generally free in the evenings or whatever, yeah, whatever, that'd help. But yeah, Oh no.